First of all, we'd like to thank and recognize the Boise Music Week Board of Directors and its president, Bev Schumacher. If anyone's here, thank you very much. Please remember that the organization is completely volunteer and depends on our generous donations for its continued success. Speaking of generous donations, we'd like to especially thank the Morrison Center Endowment Foundation for their generous gift to us to enable us to present this program this afternoon. So thank you very much. And we have a tremendous thing this afternoon. We have maybe 40 members of the original cast from 1949 here with us. And if you're here, would you please stand and raise your hand so that we can recognize you? Yay! Yay! And out of that good-looking bunch, we'd especially like to recognize Ray Mancisidor, who played music back in '49 and played music for you this afternoon as you came in. Ray Mancisidor, eskerrik asko. Well, Boise continues to embrace the Basque people. In fact, you even elected one of us mayor. So we'd like to show you what's happened over these last 70 years. Oraintxe hasiko gera, lasai egon, ondo pasa, zuekin Song of the Basques bigarren zatia.
Basques have always been explorers, possessed with a yearning to see the world beyond our small cluster of provinces along the coast of Spain and France. Our ancestors were shipbuilders and fishermen. They took to the seas, chasing whales and searching for far-off lands. There's evidence of them reaching what is now North America, even before Columbus. Their ships were among the finest in the world, and they carried the likes of Columbus and Magellan on their far-reaching voyages. In fact, it was a Basque, Juan Sebastián Elcano, who completed Magellan's expedition, the first to circle the world after their leader was killed in the Philippines. By the close of the 19th century, Basque had built successful enterprises across South America and even into Mexico. And as the 20th century dawned, many intrepid explorers began to see America as a place of opportunity, a place where we could come work hard for a few years and build a successful future for ourselves and our families back home. We came with nothing, just the clothes on our backs, sometimes a few dollars in our pockets, often following the paths of others from our hometown. But we were but one small part of a great migration, the likes of which the world had never seen. But while the Italians found their way to New York, the Croatians to Pennsylvania, and the Germans to Wisconsin, Basques like me found a place in the far west, a place called Idaho. By 1910, nearly 1,000 Basques were recorded in Idaho, among a total state population of 300,000. Most of us early Basque immigrants were men under the age of 30. Well, it was some time ago. And almost all of us came from the province of Vizcaya in northern Spain. 3/4 of us were single, and those that were married, half had left their wives behind. We didn't have a lot of money, and we weren't well educated, but we all had one thing in common: a burning desire to succeed. Word had gotten out to the Basque country that there was work to be found in Idaho, mostly herding sheep. Most of us were farmers or fishermen with little or no experience at herding sheep, but we were used to hard work. And by now we knew of someone from our family or from our hometown that had returned after 3 or 4 years of herding sheep, and they had enough money to buy their own farm or start their own business. So we made our way to Boise. Now, herding sheep, it's not an easy way to make a living. In those days, it was just you and your band of sheep, a couple of good sheepdogs, maybe a horse to carry your supplies. We didn't even have the sheep wagons that came along later to keep you out of the weather. There were always predators, bears, wolves, mountain lions, looking for an easy meal. But the hardest thing was the loneliness. We'd often go for weeks without seeing another human being.
Aita gutas oroitago
Laino pean gaue laino
Nizut saitu mateago
Arrantxuek ura baino
Itxasoan laino dago Baionako bararaino Nik susaitu, maiteago, txoriak bere, umiak baino. Nik zuzaitut, maiteago, txoriak bere, umiak baino.
The news of Greta's coyote stampede swept the other camps like wildfire. It was the best excuse for a party these Basque sheepmen had had all year.
Once the sheep went to market in the fall, we had some very welcome time off. Back in Boise, we pretty much stuck together with other sheep herders or other Basques who had city jobs or were starting businesses of their own. We stayed in one of the many boarding houses that had sprung up all over town. Those days, we married mostly amongst ourselves, and we formed strong friendships, mostly because we could only speak the Basque language, euskera. We didn't mix much with other Boiseans back then, but the solid values of hard work, perseverance, and endurance that we brought with us from the Basque country matched up pretty darn well with the American work ethic. And over time, we earned the respect of our new Idaho neighbors.
That is my uncle, came to Idaho more than 10 years before me and got a job as a sheep herder. Like others before him, he planned to return to the Basque country as a rich man in 3 or 4 years. But things don't always work as we plan. After 6 years, my tia, had had enough of letter writing, so she decided to come to Idaho to be with my tio. Ay, what a beautiful romance. Tio had made enough money to start his own sheep business, and my tia opened her own boarding house. There was little work for women in the Basque country except as a maid or a nanny for wealthy families. And since my older brother will inherit my family's land and baserri, the farmhouse, I decided to come to America to start a new life. So here I am. I soon found out that English is very difficult and the life here is very hard. But we work very hard at the boarding house to make sure that we all feel happy and comfortable here. Sometimes Tia says that if I want to feel comfortable and happy here, I have to make sure that I learn English. Because of that, I want to be able to learn English to be part of this community. English is difficult at first, but I practice hard so I can be part of this Boise, what's the word in English? Community. I'm not going to lie. I miss my family and Guernica so much, but we work hard at the boarding house to keep the boarding house running smoothly. And if I have to be honest, we have so much fun with all these Basques.
Miren, nun saus.
Bye, tia.
I can use some help here, Lastana.
Bye, Vanoa.
Dale, sabido, ya puedes considerar que mañana no es domingo, que mañana no es domingo, salimos a bailar. Soy chiquita y no me acaso, de mi amante, hágame unos zapatitos con tacón que me levante, con tacón que me levante, soy chiquita y no me acaso, ahí en España fue recordante más elegante que el va, porque te han hecho 2000 bañitos que son divinos y rescatados.
Let's listen to the radio show. It's time for the radio show.
Yeah, do you think they will have some news from the Basque country?
Let's listen.
Kaixo Danori. Welcome to the Basque program here at Radio KDSH. This is Julian Lachiondo bringing news from Escaleria to Euskaldunak everywhere, from sheep herders in the mountains to families in farms and cities in Idaho and beyond. Now, we have some exciting local news. Tomorrow night, as part of Boise's Music Week, we Idaho Basques will be performing in Song of the Basque at the Boise High School Auditorium. This program has brought together Basques from Boise, Mountain Home, Caldwell, Nampa, Emmett, Ontario, and Jordan Valley to present a night of Basque music and dance. This performance marks the first time that the Boise community has asked the Basques to share their culture and folk traditions as part of Music Week. Datoren astean arte, agur.
Ladies, did you listen to the Basque program last night? I'm so excited about the Music Week show. Aren't you?
The whole town is excited.
I hope you'll be coming, Mrs. Hathaway.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world, Jay. I have a feeling a lot of people in Boise will be coming to see the show. You know they are curious to learn about their Basque neighbors.
The statesman said the Song of the Basques has become one of the most anticipated events of the year in Boise.
As hard as Jay's been working us these past few weeks, I know we're going to be ready.
We had better be. The people of Boise have asked for us to partake in one of their most important traditions. We have to be ready.
Oh, Jay, I know you will be ready. Miran, what is your favorite part?
I don't know how is it called. This jota where they twirl?
You mean the twirling jota?
Right, Ori.
Based on the comments we have received here at the Basque program, Song with the Basque was well received by all who attended the performance. This program was an important step for Idaho Basques. One of the most heartfelt moments was when the show's Master of Ceremonies, Pete Leganeche, spoke to the crowd.
We feel a great deal of pride, coupled with humility, in being allowed to entertain you. And we feel sincere, heartfelt gratitude for taking us into your community and making us a part of you.
We close tonight's show with a reminder. This weekend is the Basque Picnic for Basques and their neighbors. Agur nire lagunak.
Euskadiko neska mutiaren kezka ongera pentsatzen hobetu ote da baile izatea sekula sekulorum amen. Behibilikian naiz horremendian mutulan konpatean alda bizimotu zer gehiago gelito ginean isilan euskaraz begira batez bestira zelan erantzuteko Adia da ona baina lurra mona beto pasatzeko Lehen behar dozu izan pasatu Gozego maiaz maia Erderi, komeri Egia da peina jarri Hori gauta espelalikatu Txokote bat edo bi Mutiaren kezka, kekongera pentsatzen Hobetu da baile izatea, sekula sekulorum amen Sekula sekulorum amen Sekula sekulorum amen
Good evening and welcome once again to the Basque program now on Radio KBOI. I'm Espe Alegría and I'm honored to be taking over for Julián Lachiondo, who has done such a wonderful job of bringing you news from the Basque Country since this weekly broadcast began. Our heartfelt thanks go out to Julián for his many years of service. While the oppressive policies of the dictator Franco continue to plague the Basque Country in Spain, it has been a big week for the Basque community here in Boise. After 2 phases of construction over 3 years, the new Basque Center on Grove Street was finally dedicated in downtown Boise. We now have a permanent place for many events like our Sheep Herders Ball, all managed by our excellent Euskaldunak organization.
welcome to the celebration, and a very special welcome to those people from Boise who have never been to the Basque Center before. We're so pleased to be holding this reception at the Basque Center, where we have plenty of room for all of our Basque and non-Basque friends to attend. We hope you learn about our culture and realize that our preservation of our culture is not just for ourselves, but for a gift for the city of Boise. We did not come here just to remain Basque, but to become Basque Americans. Haunak berenkatu saitzala, may God bless you, and may Mama Mary watch over you.
I first got introduced to the Basque dancing by my dad in our kitchen. He sang, and then we danced. And then when it came time for us to go to the Basque classes, Jay's classes, I kind of chickened out. And they said, okay, now it's your kid's turn to come out and dance. And I said, I'm not going. So then the next week, our parents said, okay, now when they tell you to go out and dance, you go. I said, okay. So, and I knew that I had to go. So I did it, and then the rest is history, because then we kind of got to enjoy it.
Do you remember what year it was that Jay started teaching dance?
47 is what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Because we had the classes for a year or two before the Song of the Basque came on.
And for her, that was really serious business. She was going to teach all of us how to dance, and she was the impetus. She was the spark that set the fire in motion. You know, she taught us how to do the jota, and That was the beginning.
No matter what, we smiled. I don't care if we were in pain, we smiled. And it was 1, 2, 3, side kick, 1, 2, 3, side kick, and step cross, 1, 2, 3, step cross, 1, 2, 3. But she set the tone. She set the tone for us that at times when we were going to, dance among ourselves, we could relax. But when we were out there performing, we were to set the mark.
Just her love for the culture and for her absolute commitment to dance and wanting that to continue. But for me, it was the camaraderie. Mm-hmm. It brought so many of us who didn't know one another together, and it was just so much fun. It was more of a party. It really was, and she made it that.
We just kind of talking about going over there and visiting our relatives and stuff like this, and we just kind of keep edging each other on, and 8 of us finally went in 1960.
We did all come together for that trip to the Basque Country with no idea that it was going to end up with we finding a dance troupe that we would follow and respect.
How we met the dance group was we were at this festival in Pasajes, and pretty soon it was time for the dancers to come out and dance. We got really fidgety because we liked what they were doing. And I remember Yvonne asking us, would you like to meet those dancers? And of course, we all just jumped up and down and said, sure we would. And so he introduced us, and we all went into the bar and started having drinks and talking. And from there, we were with them. Anytime we were in San Sebastian or Donosti, we were with them. Mm-hmm. They asked us if we would like to learn some of the dances, and we said, of course we would. And they had special rehearsals to us, remember that?
Yes, I do.
Special times when the whole group wasn't there. Right. They taught us some dances.
The Oinkaris, what a wonderful, wonderful group, and they did. They took us in like they had known us forever. And we were talking about the different dances that we had learned, and we said, we started asking them about the positions and how we shifted from one to the other. And they began drawing it on the tablecloth. Remember that? Yeah. And so we had those tablecloths to study. Yeah, I remember that like yesterday.
When we were with them, it was very late at night. We had several sessions with them. And it was fun learning the dances, but we had a problem in that we didn't have the music. Franco made sure that that was not going to happen. And so we had to learn the music just by listening. So between all of us, we managed to come back with a pretty good representation of that particular song or that particular dance. This happened several nights in a row. We had to be very, very careful. Otherwise, if the Guardia Civiles found out we were there, we wouldn't be here today, probably. I think that really we were destined. That that was supposed to happen that way.
Yeah, we were on our way home. I said, we really appreciate what you did, and what can we do to pay you back? And he said, you don't pay us back nothing. You go back to America, and you start a dance group, and you call it Oinkatis.
It was a difficult thing to bring home. It really was. It was a challenge. But we did it. We did it.
And to bring those dances back and to watch our kids, our children, carry those traditions on, doesn't get any better than that.
greatest mystery of the Basques is that over the centuries, the vast majority of smaller cultures have been lost to assimilation. But instead of becoming homogenized into the peoples around us, our ethnic identity lost forever. It's been said that the Basques have become a living museum.
Over the century or more, the Basques have been in Idaho. The opportunities and choices of 4 generations have created a subculture that is neither purely Basque nor purely American. Each generation is marked by the opportunities it was offered and the choices it made, especially the immigrant generation, which made the most dramatic choice of all, to come to America.
The second generation grew up at Basques home and Americans in public. Their immigrant parents worked hard to instill good work ethic and values that, when coupled with an education, provided a solid base for a successful life in the United States. They came of age during World War II and for the most part took little interest in our heritage as they were busy becoming American. J.R. Machea, Joey Gurin, and Julio Bilbao planted the first seeds of cultural preservation among the Boise Basques, and the founding of the Oinkari dancers proved to be the bridge to expanded preservation efforts by the third generation, who introduced us to bands like Ordago and Gaupasa.
On a bus trip for the Oinkari dancers. Edu was still in high school, Ron Lemon, and we were looking for a way to meet chicks. Really, we wanted to make sure that we were keeping Jimmy, Josoro, and Domingo's tradition going. So we started practicing Etamenche Gaude Ordago.
Bakearen uso faltzu denen aurka Justizian dago herrien oreka Askatasun harri ez biderik uka Herri honek bere bidea badauka Bakezaleak gara Bakea nahi dugu Bakezaleak gara eta Bakean bizi nahi dugu Ez gu hainit baita Madril eta Paris Ez du oto zaindu hainbeste poliziz Ez gure zendatu misil eta utziz Ez herria zain behin eta berriz Bakezaleak gara Bakea nahi dugu Bakezaleak gara eta Bakean bizi nahi dugu 1, 2, 3, 4 aspaldia zibanitzen aitoren itzikasten. Hainbeste ama baina sekulan ere intuen, gauzarik egokiena bai aldatizu zer zen. Hausa ikasiko dezu beste ezer baino lehen. Hai ama ere zezaten da euskerazko ezaldia, hori da frase indartsua, ai ai ama mama ai ama. Bi hitzoiek oso erabeligarriak dira, edozein momentuz eta edozein egoeran, kalean zaudenean neska bat pasatzen bat da, eta nezan dezakezu bertakoek bezala. Ai ama errez esaten da euskerazko ezaldia, hori da frase indartsua, ai ai ama mama ai ama. Naiz eta espresio errezta politan izan, zergaitik leku guztietan ezaten otetan, hainbeste ai ama baina sekulan ez ai aita. Ai ama errez ezaten da euskerazko ezaldia, hori da frase indartsua, ai ai ama mama ai ama. Ai ama errez esaten da euskerazko ezaldia, hori da frase indartsua, ai ai ama mama ai ama. Ai ai ama mama ai ama.
Ron Lemon, Edu Sarria, Dave Smith, Mori Berriochoa, that's hor dago. Well, we actually met some chicks, and we had some children, and we couldn't practice rock and roll without waking them up, so we had to quiet it down a little bit. Dan was the original drummer for Ordao, and he decided to pick up the accordion. Less gear to carry, maybe, Dan, huh?
It's about all I did was pick it up, Chris.
Well, we decided we'd go for a little quieter, more traditional sound, and we introduced two great women to our band, and this is Gaupasa.
gora eta gora beti, ai gora lapurdi, euskarak bizi gaitu eta bizi bedi. Gora eta gora beti, ai gora lapurdi, euskarak bizi gaitu eta bizi bedi. Gorantza doa, agudo kapitala, eta lapurdi, beti dago apala. Aldre besturek dago mundu zitala, mantzen ez bagara, ze pekatu mortala. Gora beti, ai gora lapurdi, euskarak bizi gaitu eta bizi bedi. Gora beti, ai gora lapurdi, euskarak bizi gaitu eta bizi bedi.
Gurea ez da bizi modu normala, urralatzeko aizura eta hala, lanaren truke kobratzen ere ala, benetan da miserable, euskaldunon honala.
Gora eta gora beti, ai gora lapurdi, euskarak bizi gaitu eta bizi bedi. Gora eta gora beti, ai gora lapurdi, euskarak bizi gaitu eta bizi bedi. Patty Miller, Kathy Clarkson, Sean Hockett, Dan Ansarigi, and I'm Sabino Arana.
Generation, as our parents were called, developed at a time of immense change in the U.S. During the 1960s and beyond, it became less fashionable to be simply American and increasingly popular to recognize their roots. Their constant desire to honor our heritage did not make them any more Basque or any less American. It merely proved this sociological theory. The grandson strives to remember what the son of immigrants struggles to forget. They created new musical interpretations through bands like Amuma Says No, a study abroad program in the Basque Country, and an entire Basque Studies program at the Boise State University. But nothing made us feel more a part of Boise than the dedication of our own block.
While we're waiting for bass to come in, Chris didn't get to tell you the whole story about how I picked up the accordion. It was at Rayman Sistor got a brand new accordion. It's a beautiful one, probably the one he was playing tonight. And he had it out in his car, and he's driving to play up in Winnemucca down there, and he's going down. And he stopped for coffee. He's kind of tired, and he got in there and had some coffee, and he thought, oh my gosh, I didn't lock the car. My accordion's in there. And he ran back out to the car, and sure enough, somebody had gotten in and left another accordion in there. Ray gave that accordion to me, and that's how I learned. Can we play through two hands?
zera izdanean, begietara begira, nahi dizunik esan. Maite zaitut, maite, maite zaitut, pia, 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 patata tortilla. Maite zaitut, maite, maite zaitut, irarriraino eta huita maite zaitut, irarriraino eta huita maite zaitut, irarriraino eta huita maite zaitut. Eskerrik asko! Beste bat dugu. Elurra joan direnean, nire mendien azpian, eguzkia teloian, zekaldean da. Ateratzeko beldur da, beldurrezen ikuka, aspaldian zestu aztuen obra gontan. Lastanduna zahaz orain, ururbilen artian, orain lainarik ez da, aurpegi guztiak, galarrua jatzian, galasiko zenena, ordinan gaea, negua joan eta. Berrien antzera, taupada biarra ukorai, belarrekin ikustak, adira begiak entzuten ez dutena. Mesedez ozen esan, negua joan egin dela, izara guztiak erreditxuteta. Lastanduna orain, ururbilen artian, orain lainarik ez da, aurpegi guziak, talarrua jatziak, arrasiriko zenena, ordinan daea, negua joan eta. Soinu bakar bakarra, zure bularraldean, neguan eta lastanduna zahaz orain, borrubildu zizkizan ondoan. Neguan eta, neguan eta. Eskerrik asko!
The International Hayaldi celebration brought an even greater connection between the Basque Country and America, most especially in Idaho. It grew out of friendships formed at meetings of the North American Basque Organization in the mid-1970s and has grown to become the 5-day festival that we anxiously await today.
Now, the mantle of preservation is being passed to a fourth generation. In a time when social media has made communication more fluid and universal than ever before. Our living museum has continued to evolve right along with it. And today, connections to the Basque country and our culture are reaching far beyond to countries all over the world.
As we take our own positions of leadership in Idaho communities and begin raising yet another generation, it now falls to us to make sure our place in the history of both Euskal Herria and our adopted home continues to honor this unique blend of Basque, American, and Idahoan.
The mystery of our existence is the product of many opportunities, choices, and people, not the least of which has been the Boise community. And this Music Week is yet another opportunity to say thank you.
And there's perhaps no better way to do that than to simply repeat what Pete Leganeche said at our first Music Week performance 70 years ago. We feel a great deal of pride, coupled with humility, in being allowed to entertain you. And we feel sincere, heartfelt gratitude for taking us into your community and making us a part of you.
Euskalen uso faltzu denen aurka. Justizian dago herrien oreka. Askatasun harri ez biderik uka. Herri honek bere bidea badauka. Bakezaleak gara, bakea nahi dugu. Bakezaleak gara eta bakean bizi nahi dugu. Eskuan itbaita Madrid eta Paris. Esku oto zaindu hainbeste poliziz. Esku defendatu isil eta utziz. Ez herria zain papein eta berriz. Bakezaleak gara, bakea nahi dugu. Bakezaleak gara eta bakean bizi nahi dugu. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aspaldia ziban itzen, aindoren hitz ikasten. Hainbestea ama baina sekulan ere intuen. Gauzarik egokiena, bai aldatizu zer zen. Hausa ikasiko dezu, beste ezer baino lehen. Ai ama ere zezaten da euskerazko ezaudia. Hori da frase indartsua, ai ai ama, ama, ai ama. Bi hitzoiek oso erabiligarriak dira. Edozein momentuz eta edozein egoeran. Kalean zaudenean eskabat pasatzen bat da. Eta nezan dezakezu bertakoek bezala. Ai ama errez ezaten da euskerazko ezaudia. Hori da frase indartsua, ai ai ama, ama, ai ama.